right, and we are live. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, traders. This is day 23 of my 90-day to payout challenge. Thursday, August 7th. Unemployment claims happened this morning at 8:30. We can see the news event right there. We have 3 minutes until open at 9:30, and I'm kind of just chilling. Overall, I have a bullish bias. I'm kind of anticipating. Obviously, we have multiple scenarios possible, but I'm favoring some sell side delivery to sweep, some liquidity, and then some delivery to buy side, being overall bullish in the market. Now, it's not to say that it couldn't do a couple of different things, but I'm favoring that move right there. Let's see here. Noting these equal lows right there. News low, equal lows. Markets are relatively in sync. ES is just kind of floating up along with YM. So I'm liking how they're all in sync. Looks like we've got a bit of a move starting even a minute or two early, which is totally cool. So let's see what happens. 2 minutes till open. And I do think this is a potential, this is zone up in here on my other chart. The potential place where price could reverse from and create some kind of retracement. I don't expect a deep retracement or some bullish continuation, but some kind of retracement. See what else we got. It is possible that this was the low and it keeps going. That is possible. I'm hoping not, because that doesn't give me much to get in on. If anything, it doesn't meet my criteria or my rules. I would need it to come down in here, take some of this liquidity, and come down into this zone before I'm going to likely feel like I can take a long based off my rules. Let's get organized. I forgot to look at my reminders and my rules this morning. I always pull out some lessons I've learned recently, look them over. I didn't do that this morning, but I am getting my operating procedure set in place. All right, so that is the opening bell. Regular trading hour gap is below. So I'm expecting some kind of rebalance down into here. So it tapped into a 1 hour fair value gap. There is this gap. This gap. Curious even here. I don't like that gap. I like this one. So 50 ticks. I'm just kind of sizing things up. If I were to want to go long there, I'm kind of still scoping things out. It's a possibility. I would really like to see it come down further and take this liquidity. I don't think that's taken enough liquidity for me to long. Be like a continuation kind of play. It might do it though. On push down. It's looking like it might want to do that. Question is, can I justify? Got a 30-minute sweep. Came into a 1 hour fair value gap. It's already used. That candle did not close above this inversion. Breaker here. I just adjusted my contract size. Seeing how these candles are kind of moving, anticipating if I did get into something, I'd want a larger stop than just the 50 ticks or so. We have a bullish SMT forming down at these lows, which means ES is taking its low there. All right, it's closing above the breaker. Market it in. Kind of figure out here what R to R is. Oh, that was only... Oh, the risk to reward was backwards on this. That's unfortunate. I guess I could still go in with 2 more. All right, so... All right, doubling my position here. Okay, let's go, let's go. We have some buy-side liquidity right up in here locally. I'm expecting delivery higher. Unless this is the Judas swing. I'm not thinking it's going to be, but could totally be wrong, right? This is nothing more than a guessing game with probabilities. I don't like that reaction right there at all. Cool. I'm out of the trade. Stop was too close, wasn't it? All right, let's see what it does. I see this tailless candle here. I feel like it retested down into this order block, and I feel like it's still going to push higher. That candle closure right there, that's telling me it's going to go. See what happens. That pushed up into a 4-hour fair value gap. The breaker here, a potential bearish breaker, kind of like yesterday. Feeling a little bit like a seek and destroy kind of price action. Deep retracements. It's not wanting to move, right? Not wanting to pick a direction to distribute either way. Let's check out ES and YM. Let's see what else comes right now. I was looking at the 15-minute chart previously when I saw a touch into a 1-hour gap. That might have affected my decision. So long. Minor mistake. See what we got. Any which way, I need to drink more of my coffee. There's an implied fair value gap right here. The breaker. Potential breaker. Let's see here. There is a bearish SMT forming with YM. Right up here. Time is 9:39. 1 minute left in this macro. So it looks like YM is uncoupled. ES and NQ are correlated. First presented fair value gap. Is right here. So running to my targets without me happened yesterday. My stop was too tight. I widened it a little bit today and wasn't quite enough. Right there, I went below this inversion, but the volatility got me, which is interesting. I just changed my rules from going from the swing because I wasn't, almost every single one of my trades did not need a full stop, like half the stop. So I just changed my rules for this week to come tighten up my stops. So that's interesting. Got stopped out yesterday and today because of that reason. So kind of just waiting and seeing what's going to happen. Almost hitting my take profit from the trade. You can see, I mean, I was only a few ticks too shy on my stop. Let's see what happens here. We have now taken liquidity up here on the buy side. That to me is starting to look a little more juicy for a short. But I also see it's bullish price action, so I would be more interested in aligning with a long than going for a short. We'll have that big bearish SMT up in there. Tapped into a 4-hour for value gap. Interesting. Stop and take. That's where I got tripped up. The risk and the reward are opposite. They moved that interface. All right, so we're inverting all of those gaps. Gapped into a 4-hour level. Flipped the first presented fair value gap. So this would be similar to yesterday where the fake move happened at 9:30, delayed, and then the real move happened in the next macro. Shorten back to midnight open makes a little bit of sense. Got a bad fill on that. So that means I still have too close of a stop. Okay, make do. So here we have a bearish SMT. Risk is 180, a little higher than I was hoping for. I was hoping for 150. In fact, that was a bad fill, and I'd be halfway interested in closing this trade because of that fill. So I might do that if I get the option. Otherwise, 0.74, gotta go down there. There's just not enough room for it to push back up and then come back down. Oh, it's looking like it wants to distribute though. I'm gonna go break even, potentially. Is this a liquidity grab or not? Kind of want to see how this candle closes before I go break even. My risk is higher in this trade than I was hoping. That bad fill. Slippage there. I like the closure on this though. I'm okay with this. If this closes down low, I'll run with it. I'll give it some room here. There's 2R right there. Here's the bearish breaker right there. Here's the breaker I wanted to get in on. So it took liquidity here, these equals. Now I do want to see, excuse me. I do want to see it distribute now. Not want to see price come back up into here. Coming down into this regular trading hour gap. Let's see, I kind of flip-flopped here. I didn't really want to take a short. My bias is primarily bullish, but seeing a little more of this price action made me feel, I got stopped out here on this long, made me feel that this could be the Judas for a distribution lower. And then in conjunction with trying to be a little more flexible with my trade bias, because, you know, there's some degree of incorrectness in my bias, and I've been playing around with that idea of still going in on a trade, even if it's against my bias. But I can see it in the charts more bearishly, so it fits that. However, when NQ is in freight train mode, I don't really like to get in front of it, so kind of creates a little bit of a dissonance there in the mind, right? Like, which do you listen to? You see it would be a great short. Comes into your higher time frame level. It looks better than a long here. And that's where I was saying I would long down in here and I would short up in here. So checking out, seeing what ES and YM are doing. YM has fallen hard. Retesting this breaker right in here. Coming back up into here. So it's coming for my stop. That's okay. A little bit higher, just a titch, in case that was it. Got some room to breathe. Volume imbalance, it could have taken this liquidity. I do think with this inverting here, I'm starting to feel like this could be just like yesterday and be more of a seek and destroy. It wasn't fully seek and destroy, but it was, the retracements were deep. So I'm out. That's that. So this 1 hour candle has taken both buy side and sell side. There we go. This up a little bit and see what we got. Yesterday's 9:30 open wasn't very pretty, and this is looking similar in my eyes too, and kind of makes me wonder if NQ is going to go back into one of these modes where it was here for a couple of weeks where pre-market was nice, 9:30 was kind of trash, and then the PM was nice, and this is kind of reminiscent of that to me. Or it's not really moving, it's just taking liquidity, sell side, buy side, sell side. See, 5 minute, it's actually looking pretty ugly. And now that I see this, my rules say I shouldn't trade if the 5 minutes accumulating, and that's kind of accumulating. Look at the 15, same thing, especially starting on this candle. And I started to notice it, but when I look at the 1 hour, I'm like, oh, that's clean, right? We have a stop hunt on the 1 hour. We have targets below. And then on the 4 hour, tapping into a significant level. On the daily, not really getting into anything. On the weekly, nice bullish closure here would mean this is off the table. So I don't know. Maybe other people are finding this price action easy, but when it does this, like, cool, I just used my 2 shots for today, and even if this third one was it, you know, I don't technically have another opportunity to get in if I want to maintain with my rules. Solid rejection off of this fair value gap. Kind of like this right here. Yesterday's open here on the 5-minute. It was just a lot of whipsaw back and forth before it decided to do anything. Distribute at 10:20. Let's see what happens. And similar to yesterday, I was able to see it both ways. I think yesterday I took the short first and then the long. Long, I got stopped out because my stop was too close. Here, my stop was too close. It would have just about got my target. So I don't really have a term for this kind of price action. I just feel like NQ gets in these different moods or modes, and notice these cycles and patterns. And my strategy does not work well when it does this. Or I don't work well when it does the two. So 950. So closed above that inversion. And this is where like my typical my stop loss would be. I feel like there was a recent period where trading 930 was really nice. 930 kept making the model, like if inversion breaker right there, kept making that. And the trick was at 930 to take whatever trade presented itself, even earlier into the macro like the 920. And I feel like the last couple week or so, maybe 2, I feel like that's changing, where now it's just going to mess you up for a little bit, and you actually want to avoid the 930 macro. Now price is distributing. with targets are way up here. There's nothing up here. Cleaner on the 2-minute. Oh, hey, what's going on, Hamuda? I didn't see your chats there, brother. Yeah, man, I trade every day so far. Last 23 days, at least. Some ugly price action right there. Looks like it might clean up now with this 5-minute candle closure. Starting to look a little bit better. I'm still not stoked about it. Oh, I'm not even on the right account. An old account that I wasn't using. It's not my challenge account. So what does that mean? Does that legitimately mean I have 2 more bullets? See. Yeah, that was one of my big accounts. What about you? I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing your first name. Hamuida? Did you take any trades today, man? All right, so that is the 10 o'clock right there. So change over from the 10 a.m. candle to the 9 a.m. to the 10 a.m. and then on the 4-hour candle, we got to change over there too. And then look at this. Now it's starting, like it looks like it could be a short, and I really don't like price action when it starts to look like that to me. So I'm probably gonna just see what happens here. So we took liquidity, buy side right there. Check out ES, check out YM. Oof. Big bearish SMT. Tailless candle right there. So yesterday, price chopped around and destroyed traders until 10:30. 10:20, I think. And then 10:20, it finally started distributing. Let's just tape reading this right here. I'm assuming that today's going to be a little more like yesterday, and I'm kind of assuming this long idea to fail. I didn't take it. So zoom out here. Wrong chart any which way. Look at this bullish delivery. Man. So since Tuesday, had a beautiful delivery on the 4 hour and on the 1 hour, with the New York Open being dicey, leaving all kind of imbalances below here. One hour has an imbalance forming. Let's see if how it forms. It could come back down. Annotate that for now. Starting to think that I need to, I used to have the rule where I didn't trade the 920 to 940 macro because of this. And I might need to reevaluate that because this macro has just not been nice lately. Or starting to be. Now, that's one of those cycles I've noticed is it starts to get weird. It tends to do it for a couple weeks to a month. What else do we have? The 5 minutes is just ugly. 15 minutes. In the middle. 1/3 ADR, average daily range. When we hit that in London, we almost did at 7 a.m. I consider that a continuation signal. So adds into a bullish bias. We never retested midnight open. So I don't like that. I don't like. We have a regular trading hour gap. We have midnight open. And in the days where it hits the 1/3 ADR, London-ish, it tends to leave, those are the days it tends to not retest midnight open price. But I mean, if you were long, you should have been long below 930 today. There was a long setup. All right, go back over here. ES, YM, let's see what they're doing. YM is off in La La Land doing its own thing. Let's see here. YM's making lower lows, lower highs. ES is making higher highs, lower highs. Excuse me, NQ. And then ES over here, kind of in the middle. In sync with NQ to this point, it did not make a higher high. So that's a bearish SMT right in here. Time-wise, it is 10:07, so 3 minutes left in this macro. Buy side was taken. Now price is just kind of consolidating. It's not certain what it wants to do. Mitigated that tailless candle. Looking heavy, looking like it wants to come back down. Take out this long idea. All right, so that's, let's see here. These kind of conditions require a little bit different trading than what I do. Pretty much assuming that this long idea is out. Candles here are starting to make, like a zebra stripe pattern, and that's when I know I need to stay out. I'm still waiting. Get ES on the 1 hour. Kind of curious to see. So ES is tapping down into that imbalance. YM looks more so like it's trying to invert all of those imbalances on the 1 hour. Tailless candle down here. And NQ on the 1 hour is completely opposite of YM. So that 1 hour imbalance that was forming is now balanced. 1 hour bearish SMT is forming. Find this decoupling at the moment interesting for some reason. Right. And then look at this. It's like my model keeps getting created over and over again, right? And none of them are playing out. So I'm kind of sitting here at the moment. That failed. This is a legit short. Like this is a legit short that I took over here. This would have been I didn't take this long. I had just taken a loss, but this long would have given 2R. Didn't perfectly fit with my rules. Like it wasn't textbook perfect because this didn't tap into a clean 1 hour fair value gap, but would have been 2R right there. And I've seen these days before where your setup appears, but not frequently enough for it to be high probability. There are some days I've noticed where your setup appears and it just hits. And other days, it doesn't, like today. So sell side, I don't have any targets marked, but we do have relative equal lows down in here. Just take those. Curious if that inversion gave 2R. Well, no, because no candle closed below it until this candle, which gave no option for entry. That candle, there's the possibility that I would have seen that as closed. So I'm curious if I would have done that. Probably would have had my stop right there. No, it still wouldn't have met the 2R mark. Seek and destroy. So I'm expecting late AM or lunch to potentially distribute now. Kind of playing with the macro indicators. Oh, I have this that different. But I like one of the indicators. I like how clean this one is, right? Just nice, clean and above the candlesticks. But I wish it printed in the future. I like to see just visually knowing, oh, my next macro is here, wherever it is, right? And then I just know my brain can take a bit of a break, that I just can chill out, not need to think and pay attention for at least a little while. Whereas this one, like, I like these little blocks that it puts out, but I don't like these lines that it has. And it doesn't have any, at least last time I checked, it didn't have any style settings. Color, border width, dotted. Why it's not, the border's dotted, I don't want the line. High and, oh, maybe those are high and low lines. Prior macros highlighted. Macro name. There we go. Macro high and low zone. There we go. Look at that. While I'm waiting for price, I discovered something. That's a little cleaner. I don't like how it shifts though. But I'd like it to stay. Moving on me. And at least I know what to expect. Just kind of give my mind a little bit of a break. I don't know, did anyone else take any trades today? Anyone got any W's, any L's? Let me know in the chat. Projected off this old new day opening gap right up in there. I think one of my things to go, like, what I like to do is I like to study the price later on. And one of my questions I have currently is, what's 930 been doing? How many days out of the week has 930 been doing this lately? And should I be expecting this pattern more frequently? And if so, the question then is like, well, do I maybe then go trade earlier or later in the day? For me, at least, maybe some people can kill it in this kind of price action. I know some of those like 15-second scalpers, and I mean, I'm a scalper, I'm on the 1 minute, but I still struggle when it does this. Set this. I like setting my indicators to kind of dynamically toggle on and off as best as possible. Like, I don't need macros if I'm not on the 1 minutes. I like to set them like that, and then I can toggle around a little bit. So we really haven't left the opening range. Price is not distributed either way. Similar to yesterday, it was caught between two PD arrays, two higher time frame PD arrays. Didn't want to move. So we're looking at NQ. I'm going to zoom out even a little further. I want to go to the 15 on ES. Nice work, Sigurd. Took a short from the 1001 FVG, or yeah, fair value gap, down to the 1001 low 80 tick scalp. Let's take a look. 1001. So yeah, you shorted that. Nice. Little one, kind of like a 1-to-1. Have you traded August before? Last August I traded was in Humptown Group. I was using the 15-minute Matilda last August, and I got nowhere with it, which is basically like a 15-minute order block, I guess you could say. And I struggled in August, but I think it was the model. I've heard other people say that too, that, you know, ICT said August, something about August and not putting up all your risk in August. And that the fourth quarter, September on, would be much nicer. So maybe that's another to-do item, is to go back and study last August's price action, back testing it, see maybe what more to expect. Because I started trading this model, kind of like looking at it in December, and then actually live trading it in January, more or less. So I don't know August price action. Yeah, you were with Master Friend last fall too? Yeah. And I remember last year too, we also had the election, which kind of made it a little more dicey, a friend was saying. Whereas this year, at least, we do not have an election. All right, so we're pushing into the 1020 macro. Curious to see if there's some kind of distribution happening. I don't really like getting in at this point where the 9:30 to 10 zone is kind of chopped around, because it's like, when is it going to distribute? Like, it can keep faking you out one or two more times. So I like to see a distribution and then do something. By do something, I mean find my model elsewhere, not in this zone. Look at that 15-minute chart. Does not want to move. Price is where it was at 8:15 in the morning, at 7:30 in the morning, at 6 a.m. last night. Or PM, excuse me. AM, excuse me. London made the move. Asia was what, 5.6 handles to last night. 11 handles. Tuesday night. building liquidity on both sides. Flip the 930 open now. Ooh, excuse me. I don't really know what to count for today. Because I took those two trades on an old account, old 250K. I just had sitting there. And I guess I don't know if that counts for my day today or not. Because that's technically 2 shots. And that's my rule, is 2 losses and I'm done for the day. That was on an old account, and I don't really, I'm not caring on that one. What else do we got going on this week? Tomorrow's Friday, no news. Lack of news this week. All right, we're starting to see the distribution. ES is dropping, YM's dropping. Those two are back in sync. So we can see that they're kind of following a similar pattern, creating lower lows. NQ was trying to create higher highs, out of sync with that. So here is this 1 hour fair value gap, little guy, or medium guy. This is what I was wanting to see at 930. A distribution lower, be able to long it higher. And just like yesterday, 1020 was distributing. Kind of eyeballing this fair value gap here. This zone here, I don't really have anything to do. I'm not interested right here. I might be interested in a long at 537. Mark that over here. 530. It's actually these minor equal lows I have on my chart. waiting. Don't really have any interest till price comes lower. I might feel like even that's offsides for the timing. Take a look at that. So with the AM session with seek and destroy so far, now pushing into late AM, distributing. Does that mean a 10 AM reversal is incoming? So here is the reversal occurring and the 950 macro. The official reversal here was a Judas, and then a reversal, right? So that's the smart money reversal right there. Plus, this is the consolidation. This is the manipulation. Could there be distribution? Because on the 1 minute, obviously, it starts to look like a smart money reversal, but we zoom out, on the 5 and the 15, and it's more consolidation, manipulation, distribution when you think about it in the higher time frame. Reading order flow, where happening, we got moment down close candles, supporting down close candles. Order flow is engaging. And actually, I don't really like this right here. Reminiscent of this. If it targets here, it should just distribute. That's what we want to see. Quite lackluster at the moment. taking a look here at ES. So this is what got me yesterday. ES did this and it took the liquidity. NQ didn't. There was an SMT, and I didn't see this as valid. And this was the distribution yesterday, 1020 macro. This exact thing happened. Happening today. YM is doing its own thing. Not sure what to make of that. I haven't always used YM because it was just kind of overcomplicated in my head to correlate 3 assets versus 2. I'm still kind of formulating what I think when this happens. What's up, Mario? How's it going, brother? And here's where NQ didn't tap into the level I wanted to see. And right, will it then make the reversal without me? You did a trade you pulled off a fantastic practice trade when 7 a.m. open and started retracing. First time attempting that. Oh, sweet. $7 a.m. So there was a stop hunt. And maybe you took that BPR, that inversion, and then wrote it down. Beautiful. Yeah, I took 2 L's in this seek and destroy already, and was on a wrong account. So I don't know if that counts for my trades today, Mario. Haven't decided yet. I'm seeing this as pretty low probability conditions at the moment. Kind of just waiting. And this is what's been happening. Like yesterday was a similar kind of thing. And I remember, I think it was, trying to think here, a lot in the month of July? I think it was July, might have been June. I think one of those 2 months, hard to tell sometimes. The 9:30 session was just gnarly. You got 2 wins in that trash? Right on, brother. Were you conservative then? Like 1-to-1 TPs? This still, even though it's moving, finally, it's still not the distribution I want to see. Like, we get these accumulations and distributions, like a quick move and then some zebra stripes. So if I zoom out, turn it up a little bit. Oh, nice. Yeah. I'm trying to break the 1-to-1 habit I had. So I'm not allowing myself to do 1-to-1 at the moment. And that's not helpful yesterday and today. But I had a bad habit of getting into a trade, planning for like 2R, 2.5R, and then just collapsing it at 1R or something like that. And what's interesting is when I looked at my data, like 90% of the trades ran to like 3-4R. Most of them for sure hit 2R minimum. And so when I looked at the data, like, well, I just need to hold for 2R. And so then in these conditions, I'm like, oh, I can't go to 1-to-1. So 2R it was. Nice work, brother. That's 3 for you today. I took 2 losses this morning. I took 2 losses yesterday in the AM. I took a win in the PM, I think. So I've definitely had more losses than wins the last 2 days. Switched bullish when you saw the 1 minute breakaway gap, entered the next FEG. You were expecting more out of the one. Yeah, I was surprised too. Right here. Oh, I was like kind of eyeballing this. I don't know how much I trust it. I feel like the timing's off. I feel like it needs to distribute before it reverses for some reason. Because we have this delayed seek and destroy profile. Here's a reversal macro. This should probably be continuation, not the reversal. Lots of bullish SMT down in here. Look at those tails on 5 minute. As traders, our job is to sit here and decide when to trade and when not to trade. Like our model is just our model. It's there, it's not, it's pretty or it's ugly. It meets the rules or it doesn't. Sorry, my mouse is scrolling right. Move right. So ES tapped into that gap. Took all that liquidity. That's nice for a long on ES. But it's building some more trendline liquidity down in here. Look at YM's nice dumpsky poo. About to take this right there. $15-minute bearish breaker might pan all the way out. This guy right there, yeah. Gap that we got. I'm only showing new week opening gaps there. There we go, some gaps down right down in there. Yep. Got some 15-minute inversions. there, right there. Feeling like continuation too. But I can't do anything in this, you know? It's just a flag. Versions are failing, fair value gaps are failing, it don't work. All right, new 15-minute candle. Confirming this inversion right here just now, outside of a macro. I feel more like this is a stop hunt. I feel like it's gonna fail. I could totally be wrong. But I wouldn't want to trade this flag. It's too flaggy for me. Outside of the macro anyway. Close below that inversion. Look at this, just fair value gaps getting flipped. No fun. Yeah, for sure a high resistance drop, right? Like, look at that. Zebra stripes everywhere. Barely moves and then comes back and retests. So here's also a retest of that breaker. Here. Also the 15-minute breaker. And maybe the gut feeling was right. Not anything I'm going to get in on, but maybe it is short down into there. Took liquidity down in there. Still didn't tap that target I have. Did tap the 4-hour fair value gap consequent encroachment, so that's what I was wanting to see. Really, that's looking nicer for a long now. Didn't take this liquidity, but I'm not interested because the apps are just getting inverted. So this was the zone I was looking for a long app, but I'm just not feeling like I want to engage with it happening. Prior to that, it could just chop for the next little bit. I'm not liking it. So I think I'm going to shut it down. Come back, save some brain power, and come back maybe a little later in the day. Let price do something, and check out the PM session. See if anything's going on in there, because it screwed me up. So right on. Hope you all have a good day. Stay safe out there trading.